All
Hope you're
right. So another day, another transfer rumor, and we are alive. Geez, you guys are already hopping in this puppy. You guys have, it's just because due to the consistency, we just keep going live talking about these things. I think it's easier, it's quicker, it's better to go live. Just talk about these immediately. You guys love watching them post live as videos because we don't make it really long, only 30 to 40 minutes. And yet again, same thing. We're not going to go long. But the big new thing is I'm not with Will MLS Moves. We have our new co-host, Brody, here to talk about. It's his first video. It took him a long time, but it's been in the works. The guy's contract demands were ridiculous. But Brody, just you can just say hi to everyone. Just get that over with.
What's going on, everybody?
So to get started, we're just going to be talking about Léo Chú, his interest yet again to Fluminense. Fluminense are going back in again. Here we go again. Léo Chú might be going there during the offseason. We're first going to talk about Léo Chú this season, talk about this rumor, and then what went wrong for him all in all for the Sounders, because I think it's almost written in the walls. He's going to be leaving. Will it be to Fluminense? We don't know, but it's almost written in the wall. Léo Chú is not coming back next season. I mean, I think your grandfather who watched one game could tell you that's probably going to be the case. But let's first get started with this rumor. Let's first talk about Léo Chú, rumored to go into Fluminense. What was your thoughts on it, Brody?
Um, I'm not surprised. Again, it's obviously a move that we should have done last year,
Yep.
and he made it pretty clear that he wanted to go last time around, so I'm not surprised. I guess the only thing I'd say I'm surprised about is teams actually still wanting him.
Want him again? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because I was under the assumption like, okay, we didn't sell him when we could have, had a terrible, non-existent season. So I wasn't very sure if we would get like any interest in him at all, but thankfully they still want him. So yeah,
They disregarded this season and they're just like, you know what? We want him again. Forget about how little playing time he got. Yeah, I mean, as we all know, we talked about it. I did a couple of videos last off season, talking about Léo Chú, Fluminense, numbers floating around of 3, 4, 5 million. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere around that price range. A good chunk of money. It would have been our record sale in Sounders history. We didn't take it. And because I'm not exactly sure why we didn't take it. I've seen some of you guys comment saying like, oh, because Weibel said we would like break even on the money and whatnot. I think Brody, you had some of you explain to me about it when it came to the fee not being worth it for us.
yeah, because so the whether or not we agree with it, because I certainly don't see the logic there, but apparently
Sure.
the reason why they didn't do it is because they actually viewed Leo Chu as a potential starter. So they thought, okay, if he's going to start, he'll hopefully build on, the season he
Last
had
season. Yeah.
before, and then we could potentially sell him for more. Which I get, like if that was the actual goal, like I guess I get that line of thinking, but to me that just never made sense when you look at the moves because I mean, first of all, if you take out that one game that Leo Chu had with 4 assists, like he wasn't spectacular. Like that was a position that we were definitely needing to upgrade because it's not like our offense was firing on all cylinders that season. That our offense wasn't very good
It was
that year.
basically last season was I would say it was very similar to this season,
Yeah,
honestly. I don't think it was that much different.
yeah, and like the moves that were made, like Pedro de la Vega, like they must have known before that Pedro de la Vega was going to be someone that they were targeting and that they would sign. Which, if you're going to sign for that amount of money with a DP contract, like you're not going to start Leo Chu because Christian was the starter on the right, and then the plan was to move Rusnak to the 10, and then they signed Pedro de la Vega to be on the left. So it's like I don't see how you could have viewed Chu as a starter, potential starter there, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, you got a good amount of money for him. You didn't take it. It looked like an L. I mean, honestly, I think Chu was good. And the thing is, I don't want us to like dog Chu because it's like I don't think either
yeah,
of us hate Liao Chu. But the reality is, when you look at the landscape of things last season with Chu, he had what 4 goals, 7 assists, somewhere around there, about a 10 to 12 goal contributions. But obviously, the big chunk of it, the 1/4 of it, coming in the game against SKC, and there was just not a lot of consistency. It was a decent year, but you could tell Chu was just, I don't think it was going to happen. I don't think personally, I mean, it's Taco Kid says it. I don't think Brian ever rated Chu, if we're going to be honest. Minimal game time. It didn't seem like he was one of his favorites.
Mhm.
And it was just like we had an offer on the it just adds on to the many moments of Craig Weibel just taking L's as the GM. Didn't take that money, run with it. He rested on his laurels, didn't sell him, but they're back in again. I mean, I think most of us thought he wasn't going to get his option taken, Léo Chú, because he was out of contract at the end of the season. I'm assuming, and I want to see if you agree with me, the only reason we took his option, similar to what we did maybe last year with Javier Arriaga, was just to get some money from him. It has to be.
I mean, at this point, with that has to be the only reason when you look at the emergence of like Paul Rothrock and Georgie, and obviously you're going to go into year two of De La Vega, and then now we're talking about Ariola and Ferreira. Like, there's no place for Chu
Room.
anymore.
No.
So I mean, but the
I
thing
mean, it's not
is,
like there
like,
was, but it's not like there was anyway before.
yeah, there wasn't anyways. But when you like factor in the two breakout players, Rothrock and Georgie, and then you have potentially even more moves being made. Like I said, Ariola, Ferreira. Like, it's the only reason you bring him back is to try and sell him at this point. Um, because I mean, but the only thing is we could just be that weird that we just brought him back just because we I mean we brought back Ariaga and we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna try and sign him or like try and sell him, sorry. But he stayed for like a lot of
Yeah, he
the
did. And he
season.
started a few games too.
Yeah, so it's like, what was the plan there? And I'm hoping a repeat of that doesn't happen. I'm
Doesn't
hoping we
happen. Yeah,
just take
it
any
was
offer we
super
get.
bizarre. And we barely even sold Javier Arriaga for any good money. That was the other part too. We barely sold him for anything in the end.
Wow. Yeah. It just ended
And
up
I
he
mean,
ended up taking a part of our salary cap actually. So it's like I don't even think we really got much in return for him anyway. So might as well have just declined his contract at that point.
I think the one thing we should add on, which is reading between the lines a little bit, and it's what I've heard because I have a lot of good mutual friends with Liao Chu, was with that deal last summer. Apparently, he agreed personal terms. He wanted to go. I mean, Fluminense were offering him a higher. Makes sense. They were going to obviously give him more money. He's going to go back home to Brazil. Probably wanted to raise his kid back in Brazil, and it seemed like he was cool with the move. And from what I heard, he was not happy when the Sounders blocked the transfer. I mean, as well, I think there was comments from Fluminense fans saying like, "Oh, we wish you came here, Chu. We wish you came here," and he liked the comments. And then as soon
Yeah.
as we posted about it, he unliked the comments. So it's like it's very obvious. I mean, it's like it doesn't take a mathematologist to know that he wanted to leave. Like, let's be honest. I mean, you could tell he wasn't playing with the same motivation as last year. He didn't look like he wanted to be here. Didn't seem like the connection with him and Brian were there. But again, this is reading between the lines. You guys can agree. You guys can disagree. I think it was very obvious. So it's like this time around, let's hope we can sell him. But I'm just curious, how much are we even going to get out of him? Because last time it was that 3-4 million. Surely it's going to be like less than half of it now.
Yeah, we're not gonna get. I mean, I don't see any. We have no leverage because he's only got 1 year left on his deal, and he was a
He doesn't want to, he
essential.
100% doesn't want to be here even more.
Yeah, no. And by the way, like, no offense taken. By the way, like I remember, like when, like you said, he liked that comment and stuff, and people were saying like, "Oh, like don't put words in his mouth and all this stuff." Dude, if he wants to leave, like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay that he liked the comment saying he wanted to leave. Like he's Brazilian, like you said, the newborn kid. The club wanted him. He wanted to go. Like
It's one
sometimes,
of the best teams in Brazil,
yeah,
Fluminense.
sometimes things just don't work out. So it's like not a big deal that he showed that he wanted to leave. It's like, and like I said, we've made moves to kind of push him out of the rotation. So it's not a big deal that he wanted to leave. It's like people were trying to say, oh, that's not what he meant. It's like, well, no, that is what he meant. Like, that is what he meant. Otherwise, you're not doing all that stuff.
I mean, it's
But
just like put yourself in his shoes is basically what you're saying is
yeah,
put yourselves in his shoes. It's like a no-brainer on
Yeah,
wanting to let like that he would want to go and stuff. And I don't blame him. Again, this is no hate to
absolutely.
Léo Chú because I don't blame him. And I don't blame the
Yeah.
situation that happened last year where he's barely getting any game time. I mean, as you said, De La Vega came in. He was the big new shiny toy. Léo Chú is no longer the big new shiny toy.
Yeah.
Big team in Brazil comes in for him, which I think at the time were the defending Libertadores champions or were the current ones. It's just like Marcelo was there, Thiago Silva is there. Like, if you're Brazilian, wouldn't you want to play alongside
Yeah.
those guys? Like,
Yeah. Let alone the fact that he's going back to, his home country. I'm sure that's pretty cool too. So, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, but as far as what we're gonna get for him, I'm not expecting much. Like even if we get a million,
If we
1.5
get a mill, we're
million,
lucky.
we get if we get a mil, 1.5 mil, I'm fine with it. I mean, it's either you get something or you get nothing at
Nothing.
this point. So, I mean, I would have loved the 4
But do you
million,
think
but
Craig's gonna have this type of logic? Is what I'm asking you.
um, I'm going to hope so because, like I said, he's going after Areola, Ferreira, and the fact that he's not wanting to use a DP spot on Ferreira makes me think he's going after another attacker, hopefully in with that TP spot. So I would hope that Craig sees like that this is the window. I mean, it was already the window last time around, but this is like do or die. Like you're getting nothing if you don't pawn him
Because
off.
I don't
So
think Chu's gonna. Well, yeah, he doesn't have an option anymore. But this is a good question here. Do you think he'll
yeah.
be a trade piece in the Dallas deal? No. I mean, I think Sounders could still get Areola and Frere without having to sell Chu because we haven't really spent any money. So I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. Um,
Well,
but no,
I could see it. Actually, I could see that only if SC Dallas were to like extend him, like kind of the same way how like we're in our rumors with Ferreira, like we're wanting to do it only if we extend him. I
but the thing is, I
think
don't think Chu wants to stay in MLS.
I don't think so either, but I mean if the money's right, then I guess maybe he would, but I don't know.
This
Because
is
I can't
funny.
because I'm trying to correct getting bullied by Rusnak. Oh man.
He is getting too bullied by Rusnak, bro. That's crazy.
Oh man.
No, exactly. I don't think Chu wants to be in MLS anymore. And I think this is a good time to
Yeah.
segue into what went wrong for Léo Chú in Seattle. I kind of want to talk about it. It's kind of like this whole like Scooby-Doo mystery investigation. What went wrong? Because there's some people that are still in this pool of like, I think Chu could be a good player. And some people saw the vision of Léo Chú and still think, hey, if we actually gave him a chance and Brian Schmetzer played him as favorites, he could have been a good player. And then there's other people maybe a little bit more in the middle, like we are, like, I think Chu wanted to leave when a good offer came on the table for him. He had his best season yet and so far in his career, so he wanted to progress that. He didn't want to stay. Then there's other people who are just like, he didn't play at all. He didn't do jack shit. He needs to go. Kind of like some people are saying he should just go to the second team. Like obviously
Yeah.
both extremes and whatnot, but we bought Chu back in, I want to say midway through 2021. He was a very interesting player. I think he was kind of like, even though Peck wasn't in the league at the time, I think what we were hoping for from Chu was kind of like what Peck is for the Galaxy. Not maybe to that degree, but like in regards to being a player that can change the game, can, take
Yeah.
on multiple players, can score at least a handful of goals to take the burden off Rui Diaz at the striker position. But something similar to what Peck was for us, didn't get much game time in 2021, looked decent throughout his spurts when he did play. Then in 2022, uh, didn't really get much of an eye in the team. Again, small spurts here and there, looked decent. I think one of his standout games was away in Toronto, where he absolutely cooked the Toronto defense, but we really didn't see much from him there. Then 2023 finally being like his breakout year, playing somewhat decently, getting the like 3-4 assists against SKC, and was okay. He got about 10 goal contributions, not too shabby. Then the offer comes in. And there's a lot of kind of like, I think, uncertainty or things people don't know about when it came to that whole sequence of the end of 2023 in that offseason with the Fluminense offers. I mean, Fluminense came in. Obviously, there's different floating fee numbers that have been set around 3, 4, 5 million, whatever it may be. A good amount of money for Chu came in. From what I've heard from my mutual friends, is Chu was ready to go. He accepted personal terms. He wanted to go to Fluminense, and it kind of makes sense to a degree. And then obviously Sounders block that move. Again, this is a lot of like, we're really just piecing things together. As Brody said, assumingly we thought probably we could get a bigger upside for him. He could, continue on to his good form. Obviously that didn't happen. Brian didn't rate him. And then here we are now. I mean, I thought Chu was always an okay player, but after season 1, 2, and then after season 3, so after 2023, I kind of knew. I was like, I just don't think we're going to get much from him. If we were smart, we would have sold him at the end of last year because I didn't think it was going to get any better. And I think someone, for example, like Jack was here for when I talked about it. I thought this was the time to cash in because, again, I said we would be lucky if he gets anywhere close to the season he had last year. But what do you think went wrong for Léo Chú here, Brody?
It's hard to say. I think maybe it's because it was like a fresh new signing, and we had been so used to our core of like Diaz, Ladero, Morris that we had expected so much of Leao Chu, but realistically he was like a couple $1 million transfer, U22 deal. Didn't really like his most of his production came in the second tier of Brazil, I believe. Had some moments with Gramero, I believe, but I think maybe we expected him to be something like more than what he actually is. And like we said, he did make some strides. Like he's not an, we've had obviously worse players at the club. He's not
Like
a
Tomas?
yeah, yeah. See, at least he was better than Tomas. He's kind of in the. We got Tomas who was terrible, JP who was
I
very
know we
good, and
have a
he's sort
really
of
weird
in the middle.
mix with these Brazilian players. Like, I think honestly, the only good Brazilian we've had is just JP.
Yeah, what about Heber, man?
I think we need to stop going for, not gonna lie, I think we need to stop going for Brazilian players. They just do not, it just does not, they do not mix together.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think I just don't think he's as good as what people thought he would be. I don't even think if necessarily anything went like wrong. I think like 10 to 12 goal contributions in the MLS. I think it's like that's all right, but obviously the Sounders are going to be a team that wants to contend for trophies, wants to compete with the likes of LAFC, LA Galaxy, all these guys. So just that production is just not enough. I think it's and then he got like I said pushed out of the lineup with the Pedro signing and then it just he wasn't at the level we needed him to be a starting, you know, I better go. He wasn't at the level we needed him to be like a starting attacker on a championship team. I think that's what went wrong, I guess.
And I think, and to add on to that, is I think we messed up our opportunity to at least, get something out from, and that's our
Absolutely,
fault.
man.
Yeah, we folded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he wanted to go too. Like there was no like I said they said something about him being a potential starter, but that just didn't make sense with the moves that were being made. Like it's just a real head scratcher among many head scratchers from Craig Weibel. But yeah, I hope we get something for him. Wish him the best. Like he's obviously none of us hate him. We wish things worked out differently, but I hope we can get some form of money for him, and I hope he does well in Brazil if he does move there. So
I mean, for you, I mean, do you think we have to sell Chu now? Like, this has to happen. Like, we need to get something
yeah,
from Chu. We need to sell him.
100% because you don't. If let's say let's explore the scenario where we don't sell him.
Hypotheticals.
Okay, we don't sell Leo Chu. He's not going to really play much. He's got 1 year on his deal. We're not going to extend him. And then that will be not 1 year, but 2 years of denying him a move where he wants to go. So you think he's going to want to stay? No, he's going to walk. We're going to get nothing for him. So it's literally you sell
And
him.
maybe
You
he
got to
goes.
sell
Maybe he
him.
goes to China with Eber.
Maybe, man. Maybe imagine they could pay him a lot of money. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would, but they could, I guess. But I mean, it seems like a lot of ex Sounders are leaving and then tearing it up somewhere else. So I guess he could go to
I
China,
wouldn't say
huh?
that's a common theme. Like Eber went to
No, just
the
like the bear
Chinese
joke.
league.
And
Yeah,
then Montero went to the Colombian league, I
like
think,
these
or
are
something.
really
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
bad leagues now.
Yeah. Nah. I mean, I think what happens is we'll get some, not even probably half of what we originally got, and we'll move them. That's my prediction.
I think one thing that kind of sucks though is we sell Chu and then his replacement's going to be Paul Arriola. Yes, I think Paul Arriola will be a better utility winger for us, but it's like
Yeah.
it's a very lateral. I think we'll get more out of Paul Arriola because he's so
Yeah.
versatile and he's a vet. He's been in the league for so long, but it's like Chu's 10 years younger. Like I don't. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of just a lateral move, except I do think, in terms of just like schematic fits, we can do a lot more with Paul Arriola.
Sure, yeah,
So I
exactly.
wouldn't say it's necessarily a complete lateral
And
move,
he's
but
going to be on less wages and on a way cheaper contract. There's one thing we do got to keep in mind is Chu was on I believe the U22
I
contract.
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, a few pretty decent players across the league are on that deal. Like especially the smarter teams. Like I think that's the same deal that Oliveira is on LAFC. It was the
Isn't
same.
Jovic on it? Or no? Is Jovic
Oh,
on there?
I think that is the same deal Jovic is on. Correct. Yeah, something along those lines. But a few teams utilize that as like a
A deal
sixth
that
man
Pedro should
piece.
be on, by the way.
He should be on that deal. If you look at how much money he's making,
Yeah. No, that stuff's so confusing, man. Like
it is confusing.
if you look at his salary, he's well not even close
He's
to one
not
of
in
our
the
highest
top
paid
five, I
players.
believe. Yeah.
He's under I mean, I don't know how, again, it's hard to know how accurate those numbers are, but if it's anything close, like he's at a million or under it. So, I mean, yeah,
See,
that's
this
just
is
a sign
exactly
that
what I
we're
said about the Paul Arriola deal. Paul Arriola would be like a Kellen Rowe 2.0 deal. That's exactly how I look at it too. But I thought we were past. Don't get me wrong. I think Kellen Rowe was good for what we needed at the time, but I thought we were past these type of signings. That's what I thought. Like I thought we moved on from that.
yeah. If I'm being honest, I think I probably rate Paul Areola more than Kellen Rowe as a just a complete player. But yeah, obviously we would want something. We want stuff more ambitious to come in. So if Areola and, like I said, Ferreira end up being like our headliners, then that's a failed window.
The thing is our two U22 deals, I believe, is Liao Chu and Josh Atencio, who again, Josh, I think Loki had like a dip year. Last year his value was on the rise, but he didn't play much this year, thanks to the credit of Obed. And this was a point I made last year to go on a slight off tangent about the midfielders. We have too many young midfielders.
Yeah.
Obed, Vargas, Leyva, Atencio. At
Yeah.
some point, each one of them, their stocks go high. Daniels was going on the high back in 2019. Atencio's was on the high last season. Vargas's was on the high this season. At some point, we have to let one of them go to just be able to, one, make some money off of them, two, to let them spread their wings, you could say. And then three, it's just because you're not going to be able to play all three of them. It's just like there's got to be some give here, in my opinion.
Well, it's gonna be Obed. Obed's like the cash cow that we
No,
have on our
he is.
team. So
But
he'll
that's what we
go.
said. That's what Tom Bogert said about Javier Arriaga, and we made absolute peanuts from him.
Yeah, yeah, but Obed is like a proper, like, probably our best. I mean, he's got to be our best,
He
like,
might. Do you
young.
think he's gonna break Oba's record for highest transfer sale in club history?
Yeah, yeah, because Obed went for what, like 3.7 or something. Oh, he'll crush that.
Yeah. No, I think it was
He'll
2.7. I think he was
he'll oh
close to
he'll
three.
he'll crush it, man. If I had to guess, assuming he carries in, the level he was at and gets, even better potentially, I think we'll see like 8 mil.
8? I
Yeah.
was gonna go for like the pessimistic, like 7, like
No, I
six to
think
seven,
dude, I rate him, man. I rate him so much. And any team that's like, especially you got the Club World Cup, if we don't sell him, he plays in that and he
bro.
shows his levels there, dude. That's that's it, man. Like he'll go for 8 mil
But no, no,
if
no. But
he,
wait. But
yeah.
but Craig will be like, I can't take anything less than 50 mil. I won't break even that way. I won't break even.
Yeah, dude, he's a homegrown player, Craig.
Yeah.
You didn't pay anything. Oh, it's okay to let him go.
No, no, no. I need 50 mil so I can, even out all the payments for the new training facility. I need 50 mil. It's like, yeah, Brighton would be a good example. Brighton come in. I need 50 mil for him. Now, I think
Yeah.
Obed could be
Because
the
didn't I saw what's his name? Do you know Frankie Amaya? I think he was
yes.
on the Red Bulls.
Yeah,
He went for like 5 mil plus
to where?
add-ons. I can't remember where
To
exactly.
Cincy?
I don't know if this was a I
No,
don't
no,
know if
he
it was
was
like a
drafted by Cincy.
no, it was I don't know if it was an actual transfer or an offer that came across, but I saw Frankie Amaya was like 5 mil plus add-ons or something like that, and he was 24. And Obed, in my opinion, is a better player, and he's also five
Sure.
years younger.
Yeah.
So if something like that's legit, I don't see why we couldn't get like, 7, 8 mil for
The
Obed.
thing is, too, let's say we sell let's say we sell Liao Chu, we sell Obed. Dude, this is again theory game here. Hypothetical again. This might be the last topic on this live stream / video. You sell Chu. Let's say you sell Chu 1 mil. Let's go 1 mil. You sell Chu for 1 mil.
Uh,
You didn't renew Rusnak on a DP deal. Let's say Rusnak's out the equation. You obviously Rui Diaz is already out of the equation. Not gonna lie, we probably need to stop talking about him because he is 100% out of the equation. Uh, and then you sell Obed. Let's say Pachuca come in 10 mil for Obed. So you sold Obed for 10. You sold Liao for 1. You have 2 open DP slots.
and the Club World Cup money,
And then you get the
however much
money
of
from the
that
Club
comes.
World Cup just from being there. Whatever the money is going to be. It's obviously not that rumored 50 mil that was initially said. I think it's going to be around like, I don't know. I think I saw a new report that it's like 10 to 20. Regardless, 10
It's
mil's a
still a
lot
lot of
for
money,
us.
man. It is. But
All that money, you could buy 2 legit players with those open DP spots.
yeah, I mean, if yeah, in this hypothetical, I would try and bring back JP just as like if we are selling Obed, I would try and bring him back as like a placeholder for hopefully a signing later down the line. But then yeah, you would have to go swing on those two DP spots for
See,
sure.
we were talking about this too. So I heard with Rusnak, they're trying a TAM deal with more money over a long time, or we're going to offer him a DP with less money over a short time. And either way, I think it's an L either way. It's an L either way because
Yeah,
one, in 2025, I don't think Rusnak is a DP level player. And two, let's say you get him in a TAM, pull the Chelsea and, elongate his deal. So it's a lot more less. He's not in the DP contract pool. He's 30 years old. He's not going to get that much better. We'd be lucky if he even replicates the season he had last year. It's just an all around L.
it's
Exactly my point. His
yeah,
legs are going to slowly start going. So we just talked about it today with Liao Chu, where we just saw the writing on the wall for him last year. There was an offer in for him for a reasonable amount of money. He had his best season to date so far in his career. Cash out for him now, reinvest it somewhere else. Rusnak had his best year last year. The writing might be on the wall to maybe start developing the squad. Might not be a bad shot to just let him walk, and then you can reinvest that money somewhere else. And there's a good chance another MLS team like the San Jose Earthquakes will get him.
yeah. And then we were talking about this too. Like I know it's easy to forget that there is like a future, and you just look at like what someone does in this moment. But let's just say we don't get Rusnak on a DP deal. We extend the contract for like a year or two more.
It's gonna at least be
You're,
like if you do him on a TAM with the elongated deal, it's got to be at least 3 to 4 years,
yeah.
surely.
So, oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And at that point, you're gonna be still paying him close to what he made, if not the same amount. It would just be a TAM because of roster construction, I guess. That's still a lot of money you're paying a guy who's gonna end up being
35.
33,
It's the same
34,
predicament we're in with
35.
Christian Roldan and Morris.
Exactly. It's like and then when you got to the end of Ladero's deal, like he's 34, he's making close to 2.5, $3 million.
The same thing with Rui Diaz. They're both of their last seasons
Yeah,
were almost like they were just one leg limping. Like you could.
yeah. What
That's
would
the
you rather
problem I
do? What
have.
would you rather do actually? If real quick, what would you rather do if you know that Rusnak's coming back? Would you rather it be the DP or the
DP,
elongated TAM?
DP.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yep.
Maybe like a 2 year with a option. Like I'm looking at I'm looking at what's realistically going to be offered. That's probably what's gonna happen. 2 year with the option
I
is
mean,
what.
I
Yeah,
don't. We don't need to assume. Like, I think it's almost certain Rusnak's coming back as a
yeah,
DP. I think
yeah,
it's almost guaranteed.
yeah. The only thing that made me feel like, because I mean, it's not ideal at all. The only thing that made me feel slightly better is that the Ferreira trade is not going to be a DP. So it's either
It's
we're gonna get
either
him on a
non
team.
DP or no deal, pretty much.
Yes, yeah, and at least that gives me hope that we have our eye on someone for a DP
But
somewhere.
one DP, like one big signing, I don't think is going to solve all of our problems. That's the issue I have here.
Yeah, no, but it's like I'm looking at it as like a what we're going to do, and that for
Yeah,
me is
sure.
like at least it's a lesser of two evils. Because imagine Ferreira and Rusnak on a
Well, that's
DP
what
deal,
things were
man.
looking like in the beginning when Tom was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, Ferreira's gonna be DP." Nico Moreno was reporting that Rusnak's not going to take anything less than a DP deal. It's just a matter of if he's going to get more money. It's just like it
yeah,
doesn't matter how you want to flip the coin with Rusnak. It's still going to be an L. And I just don't understand. I mean, that was one of the earlier comments in this stream was right now Rusnak is just bullying Craig Weibel for his contract. That's all that's going on. We cannot just be like,
Oh,
you know what, Rusnak, we let you walk. Like, I don't understand why that's not. There's option A, renew him on a DP. Option B, you know give him a longer deal, but he's on a TAM. Or option C, just let him walk. It'd rather be option D, not option C. It can't be an option. We can't let him
yeah.
walk. Like,
I'm
what is
just
wrong with
curious to
us?
see. Like, I'm curious to see what Weibel's like actual budget is. Like, what Hanauer's actually getting him to work with. Because like, if you're get the reason why is like if you're only giving him so little to work with, it's like dude, like even if we free up a DP spot, like if Hanauer's not giving you the budget, we're not going to sign these world beaters that we want to add to our team. So I would like I'm just curious to know like what like imagine if Hanauer's giving him a great budget and Weibel's still like let's just pay Rusnak whatever he wants, like that would
But
kill
even
me,
still, if
man.
Hanauer is not giving him even a good budget,
But
like
it's just like, but if he's not like, I'm talking like bad, like a bad, like let's say he's only getting like, let's say Rusnak walks and to fill two DP spots, you're only getting like 8 mil or something like that. Like, dude,
yeah, I mean, you're
you're not
seeing
gonna be able to do
Atlanta
anything.
United.
Like,
Atlanta United have been coming in with like 18, 15, 18 mil offers from what I'm seeing that are getting rejected. I don't remember who it was for, but they're going in big, Atlanta United.
yeah, I wish we had an owner that wanted to, give us some money. That'd be cool. It'd be nice.
But yeah, but it's not the case. I think so. Here's a comment that Joseph just put. I think Rusnak has generally been good value. He doesn't have a ton of flair, which is why I think many fans aren't excited by him, but keeping him around makes sense. What are we gonna do about JP? So we talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't It's not that with Rusnak. It's just more of like I'd rather just cut like I'd rather just see the grass might be greener on the other side. Like I'm cool with just not renewing
Yeah,
him and giving someone because like think about it. There's a lot of decent players in the league that are on TAM deals. Like we talked about Joveljic. I believe Joveljic is either on a TAM or U22 spot.
yeah,
So we could reinvest it into a player like him if we let Rusnak go, or even best case scenario, reinvest in the DP spot. What Brody said earlier with JP, and I agree with him on this, is I think there's a good chance Obed leaves. And even if he doesn't, I still think you should keep JP because you're playing in 4 or 5 competitions next year. And you need the mid,
yeah.
you 100% are going to need the midfield depth. No question about it. So I would keep JP there. It's
I,
just a matter of will JP be cool with taking a big pay cut and getting a lot less game time?
that's what I was gonna say. I think I mean it remains to be seen, but I feel like JP is good enough around like he's made enough noise around the league to where a team will sign him and like
Wanna.
give him like
Yeah.
the minutes that he wants. So, and I saw a report saying we're not even in negotiations with him. So
Yeah.
I think JP's gone.
No,
But
I think JP's gone too. I think
yeah,
JP is very likely gone.
yeah,
Okay, here goes the next one. Okay, I honestly think Hanauer has some money, but Weibel is a yes man and isn't asking for more. That could be the case too, and I can agree with that.
yeah. It's hard to know. It's hard to just speculate. Like there's so many different things that could be happening behind the scenes that we'll never know about. But like I was saying, if Weibel's getting the budget and he's just like, nope, Rusnak's my guy, max deal,
I'll
5 years,
die on the hill
whatever
for
he
him.
wants, then like that's insane. But if Hanauer's not working with him, like how a top club needs that kind of money to remain a top club, then yeah, there's not. I guess there's not much Weibel can do about that. But we'll never know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We'll never know what's going on
But
on
either
that
way,
front.
no one's happy about like we're either way, it's both not good.
Yeah. And I saw that
It
guy I was gonna say the guy in the JP thing. He was bringing up Rusnak. Like I don't think it. He said something like, "Oh, it makes sense to bring him back." It's like coming off last season, yeah. But like I said, that deal is going to be 3, maybe even more years. Like, what's he gonna
yeah,
be when
that's
he's
the
32, 33, 34, and you're paying him all this money? Like, you got to think about that stuff too. Yeah.
if Rusnak was 25 to 27 re-signing him wouldn't be the worst, but he's 30 and going to be 31 next season, so he's probably going
Yeah.
to decline. Yeah.
Exactly. I would rather not. He could listen. Rusnak could easily. Let's just say hypothetically he keeps up this level that he's at for the next few years. Cool. I would rather find out like him being on a different team. I'd rather not take the risk
Take
for
the
that
risk.
production.
Like the same thing with
And then
Léo
for
Chú,
what?
for example.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather find out that Rusnak's keeping his level on the San Jose Earthquakes. You know what I mean? Like
Than us taking
good
that
for him.
risk. Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is even if he keeps this level, what has he shown us in big games? Not
Nothing.
much.
Yeah, that's the
So
big thing I think we haven't talked about is cannot show and again to go back to the main topic. That was even the same thing with Léo Chú. He didn't show up in any of our even for him being good last season. He didn't not last season, 2 seasons ago now because I guess last season is considered 2024 at this point. He didn't show up in any of our big games. That's the problem I have with all of these players is no one shows up in big games except for Stefan Fry, which I'm even slightly questioning after the game against the Galaxy because the goal
in the
that they
back line, I
scored,
think, except for obviously Alex, but like Yamar is always pretty steady in
yes,
big
or
games and
Yamar,
stuff
but
like that.
Yamar wasn't available in the final. Like,
Yeah, Christian. I thought Christian was brilliant the entire playoffs, in my opinion.
yes.
But
But it's like we
obviously,
don't have enough big game players in the attacking
yeah,
positions to win
yeah.
us the game.
And it's not. It rests on the shoulders of Albert Rusnak and Jordan Morris. Like Georgie's 20 years old. Like he's not. You can't expect him to
But
be
yet he's the
the
one
guy can.
outshining both of
But he's
them.
the one that's making stuff happen. De La Vega, you can't expect him because he's a DP. But given the context, missed most of the year with injury and is still learning how to fit in the system. So it's to put it all on his shoulders. Granted, he could have played a lot better. To put it all on his shoulders is, you know, but Rusnak is your senior DP. He's the guy
He's
that's
been in the
supposed to
league for
be the game
10
changer.
years. He's been in
You
the
don't,
league for 10 years.
you got those guys are the game changers, man. Like look at when we had Ladero, game changer. Look at almost any playoff game that Ladero was in, game changer. Rui Diaz, game changer.
You
Albert
could even
Rusnak,
argue Mauro
not.
Rosales in big games was game changer too.
It's just the point, man. Those DPs have to be those game changers in the big games, and Rusnak's not that. So cool. We pay him the money, and he keeps his level. What is
And then
that
he
level?
he scores penalties against Minnesota United.
He beats up on the mid to below average teams. Does nothing, and that's his level. That's what we want to pay at his best. Because this is his career year, by the way. So this is the best that it's probably gonna get.
And I was gonna say too, yeah, to add on, something to think about too is, maybe he put out these type of performances because he knew his contract was on the line.
I
Let's see
mean,
if you
you
give him.
obviously have
Yeah,
you have a more of an incentive to play your best when your contract's on the line. But that's a good point because you could easily see him getting that deal and be like, ah,
all
I got
right, time
paid.
to.
I got paid. Let's just lean back, get the lawn chairs out. You know what I mean? Like
I'll do
that's
what Rui
something
Diaz
that could
did.
happen. It
Rui
could
Diaz did. I
happen.
mean, not
Yeah.
because Rui Diaz wanted to do it, but like last season, Rui Diaz was the highest paid player just to do nothing.
Yeah. Exactly, man. That's what the people need to understand. Like these deals, man. I know we like a lot of you guys like Rusnak, I know, but what's he gonna be at 33, 34, 35? That's what you gotta think about when you extend somebody. If
And
Rusnak was
that's
23, it wouldn't even be the worst because 23, 24, 25, entering his prime. But he's on the wrong side of 30, guys. Like,
And I was gonna add another thing. I was gonna add too was, uh, that's the same thing we did with Roldan and Morris. Which now looking at it, I'm very regrettable about those deals. 7, like what was it, 5 or 6 years deals we gave them?
well, I'm honestly I'm cool. I'm cool with Christian. I think. Well, I think it was only 5. I think it was only 5 years at the
Same
time we
thing. It's
signed it.
still a lot
But at
though.
the time we signed it though, so that's probably 3 more years left. Jordan's I don't particularly like, but Christian's I'm fine with, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be the end of the live. By the way, everybody that is here or watching the video post stream, first and foremost, before anything else, like it. If you haven't already, everyone that's in the stream, like the stream right now. Everyone watching the video, like the video right now. And if you're watching as a video, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. We are also rolling out a membership for people on YouTube. So that will be up hopefully very, very soon, where you're allowed to use emojis that I've created. I think they look really sick. I was actually working on them before the stream. And then if you are a member, when you comment, when you are in the live posting comments, you get a special logo next to your name. So that's going to be implemented. I don't know when YouTube's going to put it up on the channel, but I put in the request for it. So keep an eye out on it. It's going to be next to subscribe. It's going to say join. So another way you guys can support the channel. I'm going to slowly start moving off Patreon. So boys and girls, make sure smash the like button on today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, because this is a channel that you need to be at for all things Seattle Sounders. More videos coming out. Finally going to talk about the Club World Cup group with Brody. And then finally, I will finally release the video of my ideal summer transfer window. I'm going to record it, send it to the editor. Hopefully we'll be out, fingers crossed, by next week. But boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.